2, 3. Good morning, Saraland. As you can see, we're in the Delta today. You can find out why later. Girls interested in homecoming court that were nominated, the form to accept your nomination is due today, and your video submissions are due Sunday night at 11:59 p.m.
Azalea Trail school interviews are next Thursday after school. Good luck to all 11th grade girls participating.
Today we have a 9/11 story from your teachers with Armani,
Club updates with Chelsea,
sports with Emily,
and the reel with Kendon.
Tomorrow will be the 20th anniversary of one of the most tragic events in American history, known as 9/11. On the morning of September 11, 2001, 19 al-Qaeda terrorists hijacked 4 passenger jet airliner planes, intentionally crashing 2 into the World Trade Center in New York. The hijackers also flew a 3rd plane into the Pentagon. The 4th plane, according to History.com, the passengers tried to regain control but failed and crashed into a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Today, we remember the lives taken and extend comfort to their families. Saraland High School stands in solidarity with America.
Good morning, Spartans, and welcome back to this week's FYI segment with Armani. We'll be asking teachers where they were when 9/11 happened and where they heard from.
Yeah, when 9/11 happened, me and some of the other police officers were duck hunting over in the Mobile Delta, and how we was notified about the incident, that we was paged by our chief of police and said, hey, there was an accident where a plane flew into one of the trade centers. And a few minutes later on that morning, he sent another text saying, no, it's going to be a terrorist attack, that where another plane flew into the other trade center building, that for us to report back to the police station. And from there, everybody knows what happened from there.
Okay, so on September 11th, I was at the University of South Alabama in the Kappa Delta House. I had just come down to the chapter room, and I was sitting down to do some studying, and we had the news on, and that is when we saw the airplane crash into the building. And even to this day, I still get chills just thinking about it, because we weren't even sure it was real. It was so unbelievable, and all of us were in shock. And I just remember my sorority sisters and I, we became very emotional. We were very upset. We were worried. We were calling our parents. I had friends that were calling family members. A couple of girls had family members that were in New York at the time. So to this day, I will never forget that moment. And even though classes were canceled that day, one professor that I had, he was my international relations professor. His name was Dr. Hussein. And he was so brave, because he decided not to cancel class. And I attended class that day because I really wanted to have a place to go to where we could talk and really just try to sort our feelings out and emotions over what had happened and why it had to happen. So I remember his attitude of just humbleness, and also the courage that he had, because it was not easy for him having the last name Hussein, and reminding us that just because his last name was Hussein, he was not part of that regime. So I will just never forget that day, and may we always remember all of those people who have fallen.
So on 9/11, I was in the 5th grade, and I just remember my teacher just bawling, crying out of nowhere, and turned on the TV, and I had no idea what the Twin Towers were, but I just remember being a really big deal. And then I got home, and my parents kind of explained to me what happened, and my mom's flight got canceled and all that. So that's really all I remember from it, because I was so little. But that was kind of my experience with the whole 9/11.
On the morning of September 11th, 2001, I was at home on maternity leave, and I had just had my 2-week-old baby, Jay. And that morning, my sister called me and she said, "You need to turn on the TV." And I turned the TV on and watched as the terrible events of that day unfolded before my very eyes in New York. I absolutely could not believe it. And I remember all day long just thinking about all the children that had no idea where their parents were. And then that night when I fell asleep, I just remember crying, thinking there are children again who are going to sleep tonight who have no idea where their parents are. And how did that day change me? That day changed me to let me realize that our freedom is not free. We should never take our freedom for granted. And I was so thankful for those first responders who went up those stairs, those flights of stairs, to help rescue the victims of 9/11.
Good morning, Spartans, and it is Clubs with Chelsea. It is not too late to sign up for FBLA. You can do so by going to Miss Crane or Miss Cunningham's room and signing up by the QR code. Feeling hungry? You can also go to their room and get you a country meat stick, and it's only $1 and they have multiple flavors. P7 meets every Thursday in Miss Lange's room from 2:40 to 3:30. Project Outreach have their first meeting September 15th at 7 o'clock in Mrs. Hyatt's room. As you know, this week is our first home game, and the theme is duck calls and overalls. Also, the person who is the most decked out in duck calls and overalls will receive Spearhead of the Week. So come on out, bring your noise makers and your shakers. And always remember, go Spartans.
Got it! Yes! Touchdown, Saraland!
Week 3 of the high school football season region play gets underway tonight here on Friday night.
Saraland and McGill matching up. Jim Cross. Wants to air it out, falling down and open on the far side. It's Williams inside the 10. Touchdown. Rolls out. Pressure. Still on his feet. Pressure coming to the backside as well. Looks. And he's hit and dropped on the final play of the game. Trayvon McAlpine seals the Saraland victory.
Quack, 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 quack. We're the SHS Spearhead leaders.
And we want to congratulate Gavin Schmitz for being the first Spearhead of the Week.
Tonight is our very first home game, and we're playing against Baldwin County High School. Our theme is duck calls and overalls. You better have your camo and overalls on. Be there or be squared.
Good morning, Spartans, and welcome back to Football Friday. This week is our first home game, and the theme is duck calls and overalls. So come out and support our football team as we take on BCHS at 7 p.m. Our JV team takes on BCHS on September the 13th at 6 o'clock. Our fishing team has their second tournament at the Tensas River Delta this weekend. The swim team has their first meet on September 18th at the Chickasaw Pool at 9 a.m. The varsity volleyball team has a tournament this weekend at Baldwin County, and the freshman team has one at Gulf Shores. Check their Instagram pages for times. This Tuesday, the freshman team plays UMS at 4 o'clock here at home, and the JV and varsity teams play at St. Paul's at 4:30 and 5:30. Come out and support our ladies. Check out the Spartan table for interviews with marching band and dance team. That's all this week, Spartans. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of SNL.
We hope you have a great day, Saraland.
And as always, go Spartans!